Good morning, everybody, and a happy Thursday morning to you. Oh my goodness, as usual, there's a lot to cover in here. We've got some more information from what really went on behind the Master Chef kitchen. Oh my God, and more. So let's just jump in and get busy because there's so much. Let's go. We're starting off today with King Charles. He received a portrait from 7-year-old Olivia Rickards, and she thanked the king for taking care of England. And the king thanked Olivia for the note before attending a church service on his Sandringham estate. King Charles was the art inspiration. Next up, sticking with King Charles, he visited the Royal Air Force to hear about the capabilities of the F-35B Lightning aircraft, and he met serving aviators and their families. Managed jointly by the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy, that aircraft operates across both RAF Marham and the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers. King Charles is the Royal Honorary Air Commodore, and so he viewed the cockpit of the aircraft, and he met members of the wider base community, including a community support, resilience, and climate change group. And of course, he went around and met all the families and the babies because that's what he does. I love this man. Ugh. All right, we're going to continue on with King Charles. And this is big. The news that King Charles's household aide is going to step aside from his position after spending 20 years working for the royal family. This year marked 2 decades of service for Sir Clive Alderton after 11 years as principal private secretary, both to the king and the late Queen Elizabeth. And before his departure, he was Charles's most senior aide. He has served the royal household since 2006, including a 3-year stint as an ambassador. And he's decided to step aside from the position around the summer of 2027. So he's got like 1 year left. Now, this will allow plenty of time to recruit his replacement. And it's expected that the recruitment process will aim to identify only the highest caliber candidates. And his departure is set to coincide with his 60th birthday, which is in May. So there's plenty of time to do an adequate handover for his post. He said he has played an immense and critical role in the support of the king and the queen over the course of his 20 years working for the family. Part of his job involved years of planning for a session, chairing the coronation committee, managing the significant first year of the reign, and reflecting on his time at the job. He said, quote, "It has been my great imaginable honor to serve the king and queen in my present role through such historic times and with unforgettable humor along the way. The support will continue in a less formal capacity for all of my life." So for now, he's going to continue to work in the household and provide support where necessary to implement a new principal private secretary. For those of you who don't know it, this is the man in Spare that Prince Harry called the WASP. We know that he has been opposed to the king welcoming back Harry and Meghan into the household, and now Harry feels that his chances of being welcomed back have gotten a big boost because this guy is leaving. I gotta be honest, I don't think it's going to make a difference whether this guy is there or not. However, people are saying now that this is Project Thaw in action, that this is one of the remaining people that was keeping Harry out. I don't believe that. And I do believe that even with this guy gone, Harry still isn't going to get back. What the articles are saying is that the former UK diplomat Theo Rycroft could get a promotion. He is currently the deputy private secretary, and they're on competing factions within the royal household. So while Clive Alderton has told the king you need to keep Harry at arm's length, Rycroft is keen to push for a reunion, fearing the split is damaging the monarchy. So only Prince William now, they're saying, seems to stand in the way of Harry and Meghan's return, although they're saying William's position will be weakened by Mr. Alderton's absence. I don't believe that for 1 second. I'm telling you. Don't forget, though, Harry described Sir Clive Alderton as lanky, charming, arrogant, a ball of jazzy energy, and great at pretending to be polite, even servile. Because he seemed so weedy, so self-effacing, you might be tempted to push back, insist on your point, and that was when he'd put you on his list. He went on to say, quote, "A short time later, without warning, he'd give you such a stab with his outsized stinger that you'd cry out in confusion, 'Where the F did that come from?'" Yeah. So it's very obvious that Harry feels like this man is the reason Ravik won't give him back his security. This is just never going to end with him. I think that what a lot of these reporters are forgetting about is William and Charles talk a lot, and William behind the scenes is running a lot of things. So I think William has put his foot down and said Harry can't come back, and I don't think it's going to happen. It's that simple. Let's move on. Talking about William and Catherine, they've issued a statement expressing solidarity with those that are impacted by the catastrophic wildfires that are sweeping through France, Spain, and the UK. So they put out a statement to everyone affected by the natural disasters, and it read, "Our thoughts are with everyone affected by the devastating wildfires across France, Spain, and the UK. We are deeply grateful to the firefighters, emergency workers, and the volunteers working tirelessly in extraordinarily difficult conditions. These events are a stark reminder of the challenges posed by the increasing extreme climate and the importance of protecting both people and nature." Yeah, I thought that's a nice statement to make. Let's move on. Next, we have the Duke of Westminster. Remember, he's like a billionaire, and he's George's godfather. Remember, at his wedding, Harry wasn't invited and William went as an usher. And then he and his fabulous wife had a little girl, and she had her 1-year birthday party. I think she's turning 1. Fabulous. I can't wait to see a picture of this child. Let's continue. It is being reported now that Sarah Ferguson is going to get part of Paddy McNally's $600 million inheritance, that he always looks out for Sarah. And remember, they went out in the 1980s before she married Andrew. And he owned Warneford Place in Wiltshire, the former home of James Bond creator Ian Fleming, and Buckland House in... Anyway, he apparently let her live in his £15 million Swiss chalet after they were evicted from their home, Royal Lodge. And now we know that he has left her money, because even though they broke up, he continued to look after her. He always looked after her. Lots of times over the past 4 decades, she needed a lot of looking after. He never abandoned her in life. And they're saying now that even in his final days, he allowed her safe sanctuary in his home. So it'll be interesting to see how much he left her, because she's in a big financial problem. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it'll be released. Let's talk about Andrew. It's being reported that the British police have renewed their appeal for witnesses and victims to come forward, because they're broadening their active investigation into him, and they're looking into potential offenses that include misconduct in public office, as well as a certain kind of misconduct. This is happening. The City of London Corporation is actually drafting a bill to strip Andrew from the freedom of the city. And they're saying that they understand why people want the matter resolved as quickly as possible, and they're sharing that desire. And this comes after they said the honor could not be removed back in March. Now, Andrew was awarded the freedom of the city in London in 2012 because Prince Philip was a freeman. And the corporation spokesman added that the fastest and most appropriate approach is to put in place a lawful process that allows the city corporation to make these decisions itself, rather than seeking legislation through Parliament. I think that is a smart move. Let's continue. All right, we have another Harry problem. Apparently, it's being reported, allegedly, that Charles is going to offer Prince Harry a room at Buckingham Palace for his upcoming UK visit in September for Well Child. Now, this is a fresh olive branch after the whole problem that just happened. Remember, Harry wouldn't say yes or no. The deadline passed. Then Harry said no. Then hours later, he changed his mind and he was told, listen, too late. And then he said, well, it wasn't a real offer anyway, and he insulted his family. So here's Charles now bending over backwards once again to offer him a room. Here is the problem. First of all, every other time Harry's been offered a room, he said no to it because he said it wasn't secure enough, it wasn't safe enough. That's what he said. Okay, but here's my thought process. This is a dangerous precedent. You don't want Harry to have the half in, half out life, but it looks like that's what he's getting, because every time he comes back to the UK, Prince Harry stays at a royal residence while he deals with his patronages that are still connected to the royal family. This is not looking good. It looks like even though Harry's been told no by the Queen and no by Charles to the half in, half out, he's doing it anyway. And now with Sir Clive Alderton stepping aside, this is Harry's thought process. Now he's going to get the royal protection. Basically, he's getting the half in, half out that he's been told no. I think this is a dangerous precedent. On top of everything else, a significant number of British citizens expressed through recent polling that they don't want Harry being, hosted at Buckingham Palace for his anticipated September trip. It's a sharp public rebuke. Public sentiment has remained harsh after all the horrible things he said about the UK. Can't blame people. All right, moving on. Charles Spencer went with his wife to visit a family grave on the Sandringham estate just days after all that online backlash with Meghan sharing a picture of Harry and the kids walking towards Diana's grave. And a lot of people are disgusted. It's Countess Cat Spencer. She shared it on Instagram that her husband, by the way, she's the fourth wife in case she hasn't figured that out, took her to see a family grave on the estate over the weekend. And so, of course, she put a picture of it up. I know that may be what people do. I think it's tacky. Talking about Instagram and those pictures that Meghan put up, I already told you this, that she was copying George by putting the picture up of Archie, in another cockpit. And of course, mainstream media picked up on it. It's a copycat attempt. Everybody knows what she's doing. What's being said is Meghan is more predictable than a dad joke. That everybody expected to see a picture of Archie after George's Royal Air Force tour. And as many predicted, Meghan just had to post an aviation-related image of her son after George's appearance on Armed Forces Day. Everybody knew what was going to happen. It was abysmally predictable. George has shown a love of aircraft since he was a little boy. He's been able to correctly identify parts, including the tail rotor, since, I think he did that back in 2016 when he was 2.5. He took his first flying lesson 2 years ago at the age of 11. Now, how much do you want to bet we're suddenly going to hear that Archie is taking flying lessons? I think Meghan and Harry are both driven by high-profile public drama, constant media focus, and frequent solo appearances, which is why they've been dubbed as having main character syndrome. This behavior reflects patterns regarding their public life. Harry, for instance, is constantly placing himself at the center of media narratives despite stating a desire for privacy. They transform everyday legal or personal events into high-stakes public storylines, and analysts have tied these habits to his historical role as the spare rather than the heir. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, and to put it bluntly, Harry is addicted to the drama, just like his wife. Let's continue. All right, we're going back to the MasterChef appearance. It's coming out now that she probably will not be invited back because she took such issue with a lot of things, and it's being reported that by the end of the day, everybody was literally just praying for the taping to be over. People are talking about the quote-unquote royalty comment, but that was the least of the crew's concerns. Now, according to Rob Shooter's sources, she had a list of demands for the crew upon her arrival, with some claiming that she acted like she was Julia Roberts arriving to shoot a blockbuster. Now, they said the team has worked with award winners, world-famous chefs, and global stars, but they've never experienced anything quite like this. It's being reported there was an audible sigh of relief when Meghan finally wrapped. People couldn't wait for the day to be over. And even now, if you mention her name around the production office, some crew members tense up. Well, we've heard that before, that's her kind of behavior, so I'm apt to believe it. We all heard how she was upset when she was introduced as royalty, but then later on, her sources dismissed that, which I believe. I don't think she minded being called royal again. But what else was coming out was that she was one of the most demanding celebrity guests that the long-running series had ever hosted, and they wanted everything to revolve around her. Every aspect of production should be around her. I believe it. Chef James Stocks, remember we've spoken about him before? He criticized the decision to feature Meghan, claiming that she contributes no real food knowledge, which is absolutely true. She's not a chef, and she was only invited for celebrity headlines rather to champion inspiring cooks. That's absolutely true. And remember I told you about that ridiculous phone call that was so obviously scripted, and it was such a joke. Well, I thought you might want to hear it for yourself, for those of you who haven't heard how it went. Listen to this.
Hi, thank you.
We've had a phone call to the studio.
Hi, my love.
Good way.
Hi. Oh, my husband's here. Hi. I want you to meet the judges. There we go. Oh my gosh.
What's going on? Have I interrupted something important?
Well, we are actually in the middle of tasting all of the dishes. We have 4 incredible cooks here. Here they are. Aaron's here. Vinny's back there. Casper and Petro. Say hi, guys. It's amazing. They're so talented. We wish you were here. He's in Canberra right now. Yeah, we do. With the veterans.
The chandeliers in the background. That's very nice.
Yeah, we fancy the joint up
they go all out here.
Your beautiful wife.
That you guys have. Wonderful.
I wish you could try this. These dishes are fantastic.
I see.
Yes. Yeah. Can you see it okay? It's really delicious, and there's a hot sauce that, well, you know me, it's a sambal, and it is so good. I don't know, I think it might be too much for you, though. It's spicy.
Good. I'll go and enjoy. I'm very sorry to disturb you. All is well here. And I'll see you later.
Okay, I'll see you later. Say bye to everybody. And there's the crew. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.
One of my subscribers, Gina, sent me this screenshot and said, do you happen to notice what was in the corner? Was Harry taping something else? Maybe. You never know, but I love, that's a joke all in itself. Traitors. So anyway, Meghan gets home from wherever the hell she and Harry were. And of course, she has to put up a picture that shows where she is. But here's the thing. First of all, it's summertime. Why is she wearing a sweater? Number 2, who took that picture and why? I cannot imagine having your entire life be so performative. It must be exhausting. Now, what's being said is, oh, they're going to get her an invitation to Balmoral over the summer. I can tell you right now that's not going to happen. Apparently, the family is still waiting to see if Harry and Meghan are going to run their mouths about this reunion, which it's still a question of baby steps as far as the reconciliation between the king and the Sussexes go. But again, William is not going to bend. As far as I can tell, they've already failed the test, because no sooner did that meeting happen than Meghan puts pictures of the family with the children at Althorpe going to visit Diana's grave. Now, TV talk presenter Mark Dolan spoke to Angela Levin about the visit and about this picture they put up. And Angela said they want to do this series about how Diana died, and that is why they were so desperate to come here and stay in the country. They came to take pictures. And I'm sure that is the only reason they wanted to come, not to see the king, not to see anything else, but to be able to go to Althorpe and take pictures. Personally, I have no doubt that they were sniffing around for more content for another book or another Netflix series. Don't forget that when Harry first wrote Spare, he said his first draft was 800 pages and he cut it down to 400, implying that he left enough material for a second book. And they're saying that a potential sequel is going to focus further on his ongoing security battles and remaining grievances within the royal institution. So it seems to me that the only reason he wants to go back is to drum up some drama. I don't really think he wants to reconcile. It's very obvious Meghan doesn't want to. In the meantime, a blind item came out that essentially said that Meghan is not really doing anything with her website anymore. She can't afford to pay anybody to run it. It looks like she's the one doing it. She needs money from Charles. Do I think Charles is going to cut the two of them a big fat check to help them on their way? Nope, I don't believe so. But it's because of ads like this. She's walking through the garden, perfect makeup, hair, hat, white shorts, picking raspberries. Look at what's coming soon, while the camera follows her through the garden while she's smiling. This is so amateurish. Now, the kids, what's going to happen to the kids when they grow up? Well, they're growing up away from the UK means that they have no bonds with their royal cousins, no bonds with the extended family members. The questioning that these kids are going to have for their parents, why they were kept at arm's length for a significant part of their background and history is going to come up. There's going to be tough questions. Why were they deprived connections with both grandparents on both sides? Why did all of this happen? Because Harry has said before that he grabbed the titles for the children in the event they wanted to be working royals. This is a man who took a freedom flight to get away from the royals. And I can tell you now, as I've said to you before, that will never happen, because if the Wales children let the Sussex children in, you're letting Harry and Meghan in again. So that'll never happen. Now, to finish up, I am aware that you're watching this on the 29th, which is the day that the judge is deciding on damages in Harry's case against the Daily Mail. And the situation has become complicated by Harry's inflammatory statements against the judiciary and reports that insurers are refusing to cover the costs due to unbecoming conduct. So, when that is done, when that decision is made, I will cover that in tomorrow's video. I didn't want to try to cram it in at the last minute, but I am going to cover that for you guys, okay? In case you don't know, the additional liability could be as high as $33 million. This is going to be good. All right, you guys, you know what I want. Put those comments down, make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find a link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my father's book, which remains up for sale on Amazon, a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.